Article 370 of the Constitution of India, which conferred special status on Jammu and Kashmir, was unilaterally deoperationalized by Prime Minister Modi's government on August 5th of this year. The BJP government went a step further and bifurcated the state of Jammu and Kashmir, after which it was reduced to 2 union territories. So in effect, the space of Jammu and Kashmir has been depoliticized. Since the unilateral deoperationalization of Article 370, Kashmir has been under a severe lockdown. There has been a communication as well as an information blockade, because of which those Kashmiris living outside the valley have not been able to establish contact with their family members living in the valley, which makes the entire situation emotionally as well as psychologically traumatic for those of us who live away from home. Prime Minister Modi's attempt to bring about national unity as well as emotional integration by taking this arbitrary decision will not yield any good long-term results. The Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir was dissolved in November of 2018, and since then the former state has been under President's rule. So when the federal government of India made the decision to remove Article 370 and integrate the former state of Jammu and Kashmir completely into the Indian Union, there were no elected legislators with whom they could consult or with whom they could confer. As of now, politicians of every hue and color in Kashmir, separatist politicians as well as mainstream politicians, placing under house arrest or jailing every politician of the opposition, including elected legislators and parliamentarians. The BJP government has muzzled every voice of dissent in the Kashmir Valley as of now. Every local representative and stakeholder who could have taken the initiative of negotiating with or forging a dialogue with the federal government has been put behind bars, has been muzzled. What we require as of now is the restoration of the right to life, the right to dignity in Kashmir, which is given to us by the Constitution of India. The integrity of the Constitution of India will not be preserved by the over-centralization of powers. On the contrary, what we require is the decentralization of powers. We also require a more secular framework within which religious identities and people of several religious as well as political leanings can be accommodated. What we are seeing in India today is a conflation of religion and state. We are seeing the alienation of minorities in a democratic and secular country. Our ancestors struggled to maintain the unity and integrity of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They struggled to create a politics that transcended religious, regional, linguistic, as well as ideological divides. And what we are seeing today is a complete exacerbation of those divides sanctioned by the federal government, which is very painful for those of us who have always been invested in the autonomous status of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, who have always been invested in our sense of nationhood, dignity, and pride. At this stage, every stakeholder must be brought to the table. Instead of alienating the people even further, instead of allowing and sanctioning the forces of national chauvinism and religious fanaticism, it is important to confer with and incorporate into the mainstream every politician as well as young people, to make them feel like stakeholders, to make them feel like they have a voice in the future of Kashmir. So the restoration of civil liberties must be the first priority. Indian civil society organizations, as well as Indian civil society groups, should take the lead and foreground logical and rational issues to the Kashmir conflict without towing the line of ultra-right-wing nationalism and without criminalizing every Kashmiri with a broad brush.